My new work has been released. Welcome everyone to read my work in tomato novel. I hope everyone can enjoy it. Your attention is the driving force behind my writing, and I will strive to tell every story well. Chapter 1. Sun promises to talk to that madman. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Late at night, Lin Miaoqing and Zhang were still searching for evidence for their graduation thesis in the laboratory, conducting experiments time and time again with precise amounts to ensure the rigor of the paper. Lin Miaoqing stretched lazily and murmured, "Zhang, take your time to experiment. I need to catch up with the drama for a while, or I'll be exhausted." "What do you call me?" "Shout well." Angry Zhang lifted Lin Miaoqing's sleepy face and looked at her pristine long hair, skin like snow, like Elsa walking out of the ice and snow mystery. He threatened, "Otherwise, I won't be allowed to look, and I won't let you look or feel sleepy when I return to the apartment." He then leaned his mouth against Lin Miaoqing's face. Okay, old." Lin Miaoqing only exclaimed a word and noticed that Zhang Jie's eyes were staring at her boss, so she mischievously added another one. "Gong, old Gong, hee, let me chase after the drama, please." As she was about to bow, Zhang Jie picked up her face and pecked at her. "Okay, husband, let me be your Huan chasing after you." Huan spoke up and said, "The night before yesterday, Empress Zhen and concubine Xin passed by sunning outside the palace. They heard a strange sound in the flower bushes inside the palace. They thought it was because the palace maids and eunuchs were not behaving properly, but they found that it was Sun Ying and the madman who were dressed in disheveled clothes. They were tumultuous and confused about what was happening in heaven and earth. Empress Zhen had already taken them off at that time. When my concubine hurried to go, they were still sweating profusely in the flower bushes. Sun Ying's red mandarin duck belly pocket was still hanging on the belt of the madman, and it was undeniable that Sun Ying could not be denied. Imprison the madman and bring him into that violent room." The emperor said weakly, "You're a slut." Huan continued, "This matter has caused a great uproar, and everyone knows that I dare not make any decisions." The emperor closed his eyes and said, "Everyone knows that if you kill her, you will be dismembered." After finishing his anger, the emperor stood up and Huan said, "The emperor is calm, you can kill or cut him." After sitting up, the emperor was exhausted and gasped for breath. Why do you all want to betray me?" Huan looked at the emperor impatiently. He said, "Your Majesty, calm down." The emperor raised his finger and pointed out the window, saying, "It's also such a gloomy day. I hid behind the screen and saw Longkodo holding on to Empress Dowager tightly. Empress Alma is the emperor." After speaking, blood flowed out of the emperor's nose. Huan summoned the imperial physician, and Su Peixing stood aside and said, Empress just sent someone to say that she wants to serve the emperor." Huan looked at Su Peixing and said, "The emperor said he will never see the empress again, and this palace dare not resist orders." After that, Su Peixing wisely withdrew from the palace. After Su Peixing left, Empress Ning ran into the palace regardless of obstruction. Seeing this, Empress Ning Huan said, "It was our palace that called Empress Ning to come." The eunuchs retreated. As Empress Ning approached, Empress Huan attached herself to Empress Ning's ear and said, "Have you brought anything?" With a sneer, Empress Ning said, "I dare not neglect what Empress wants. Empress, please wait outside the palace for me to serve the emperor and take medicine." After that, when Suochuo walked out, and Empress Huan nodded at her. When Suochuo bowed and left. Inside the palace, concubine Ning helped the emperor up and fed the pill mixed with cinnabar to him to take. After a moment, when Suochuo's medicine also began to take effect, and the emperor fell asleep. Wow, Huan is really cunning. When Sun agreed to flirt with that maniac, he didn't know what heaven and earth were. He said it as if it happened right in front of him. Lin Miaoqing said softly, "Oh, this TV drama is so explosive." Zhang put down his measuring cup in his hand. Huan said that Sun agreed to have an affair with that guard in order to accelerate Yongzheng's death. As the day gradually brightened, Zhang Jia looked at Lin Miaoqing lying on the table and said, "Let's go. Our junior and junior students also need to use the laboratory today. Let's go back and have a rest." It's pitiful that son promised to be executed at such a young age. Zhang Jia pulled him out of the laboratory while muttering softly. Chapter 2. Modern Lin Miaoqing and Zhang Jia's Love. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. At this moment, everything on the campus of China Eastern University of Aeronautics and Astronautics appears particularly beautiful. The sunlight penetrates through the gaps in the leaves and sprinkles on the ground, forming golden rays that shine on Zhang Jia and Lin Miaoqing. Their smooth and fair faces exude a sharp and handsome coldness, dark and profound eyes, exuding a charming hue, the thick eyebrows, tall nose, and stunning lip shape all exude nobility and elegance. This is not human, it is simply the Prince Charming in fairy tales. The other hair is like a waterfall, emitting a faint golden light, leaning against the shoulders of the tall and handsome man with her head tilted. Her albino skin shines brightly in the sunlight, as if it is the purest gem in the world, making people pity her. "I can't walk anymore. It's too tiring to rest all night. What should I do?" As soon as Lin Miaoqing finished speaking, she was immediately picked up by Princess Zhang Jia and ran like a fly. A small body grid, which was 162 meters tall and weighed 85 pounds, was like holding a child to a young man who was 184.5 meters tall and exercising every day. "I'm not tired, we haven't done anything serious today," she said. "What are you saying?" "I mean, we haven't had a deep conversation yet." The voice grew louder and louder, afraid that single dogs who wake up early on campus wouldn't be able to hear it. "Keep it quiet." Lin Miaoqing squeezed her neck hard and buried her head in his arms. Lin Miaoqing and Zhang Jia have been childhood sweethearts and childhood friends. Both parents hoped to start a family and career soon after graduation, taking advantage of their youth to take care of their children. Therefore, besides their graduation thesis, another important life event for them is getting married and having a cute little mythical beast. Their apartment is very close to the school. Zhang Jia came back with his beloved girl in his arms. When he got home, Zhang Jia skillfully cooked breakfast, cooked a small pot of millet porridge, made an egg-filling cake that Seking loved to eat, and simply quarreled with a zucchini scrambled egg. "My beloved Princess Aisha is coming for breakfast soon." No response was heard. He found that Seking was already in bed with her eyes closed, asleep, so Zhang Jia gently blew on the snowy cutie. Her golden eyelashes flickered and then kissed her on the occasion. Then he picked up her little princess. Drowning to say, "Eat quickly, we haven't done our business yet. If we don't keep our eyes open, we'll just come straight here," she said, and she was about to put the second green on the bed again. "Humph, I'm awake. Let's have a meal first." "Hee, alright, let's go. Let's start the meal," Zhang Jia said, holding on to the second green and placing it in front of the dining table. "Let's start." Second Qing picked up her chopsticks and finished the battle by dividing them into 2 and 3. She stuffed a mouthful full of eggs into a cake and said, "I'm full. I'll go to sleep first." She then stood up the next second, one hand grabbed her wrist and pressed her against the wall. "No way, finish the food in your mouth." Second Qing couldn't break free and could only puff her cheeks while chewing. Zhang Jia looked at her round face, which was flushed with white and slowly recovering. "Eat, finish." Before Qingchen could say the last word, his kiss fell. The hotter it was, the more she struggled. He held her tightly in his arms and held her lips in an oath-like manner. He wrapped his hands around her waist, slightly bent his body, buried his face at her neck, and the hot breath swept over her skin, itching extremely. He hugged her from behind, causing her to panic and feel helpless as she tried to break open his hand that was wrapped around her waist. His body was slightly free, and he was asked to turn his shoulders to embrace him face to face, and his face covered. He didn't say a word, just hugged Qingchen gently. Seking gently leaned against his thin chest, and could hear his heartbeat drumming his eardrums. After a while, his chest gradually increased in intensity, and the breath that fell on her neck seemed to become more and more urgent. Second Green slowly approached him, her fingers brushing against the man's neck. Her fingers slid slightly along the delicate fair skin next to her collarbone, creating a warm and jade-like texture. A faint warmth flowed between her fingers, and a little bit of warm breath slowly began to move in Second Green's gentle movements. Zhang Jie gently approached the girl and hugged her from behind, placing his slender palm on her flat lower abdomen. His palm was warm, and when he touched her lower abdomen, it was like a warm source of tears pouring into her body. Miaoqing shrugged her shoulders and had thin and soft ears. He pinched it and rubbed it with his thin cocoon fingertips. The green stubble scraped against the fair and delicate skin, causing the girl to shudder. Zhang Jie muttered, with a morning husky voice. "Let's go to bed." She hugged the Second Green and arrived at the bedroom. He bent down and whispered in her ear, her hot breath making her itch. He reached out to help Miaoqing roll her loose golden hair behind her ear, and his fingertips slid over Linglong's cheek, feeling a faint chill, but it made her face burn. Suddenly, something fell on her eyelids. She instinctively closed her eyes. Welcome a fleeting kiss. Her eyelids trembled, and she didn't dare to open her eyes to look at him until the warm breath was far away. Zhang Jie suddenly touched Miaoqing's cheek with his hand, but she was slightly trembled by the sudden touch. His hand followed suit and gently rubbed her lips back and forth. He gently hugged her from behind, causing her to panic instantly. He broke free from his hand around his waist and asked him to turn his shoulder to embrace her face, with his forehead gently facing hers. He whispered in her ear, his lips intentionally or unintentionally touching her earlobe. He helped her pull the excess hair behind her ear and touched her cheek with his fingertips, feeling a faint chill. But it made her face instantly turn red. His smile was so intoxicating that she had to turn her gaze away. She was confident that he could see through her heart or hear her rapid heartbeat. She bent down, the tip of her nose slowly approaching his neck, and a faint breath hit that spot. She only focused on smelling the source of the smell and didn't notice the big boy. The body stiffened unnaturally, and the Adam's apple rolled lightly. The room was scattered with a little sunshine, and he stared straight at her, his eyes not entirely innocent, seeing the curves faintly visible inside the blue pajamas. After swallowing the white pearl pendant between the ravines, he proceeded. Chapter 3. Wake up and try on wedding dress in the afternoon. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhang Jie slowly woke up and hugged Miaoqing even tighter beside him. He glanced at the faint light from the window, which turned slightly red. He also glanced at the phone beside the bed, which was already 3:15 p.m. in the afternoon. This beautiful little angel, the baby's skin is so delicate, soft and smooth, like a ceramic doll that can be blown and broken. It quietly leans against his chest, as if the whole world is still, and only their breath is fresh like orchid, making people intoxicated. It seems that one can feel her shallow heartbeat, like the most beautiful movement, and a sense of happiness arises in her heart. At this moment, time seems to have lost its meaning. Zhang Jie woke up her little princess with a kiss and said, "Wake up, didn't you make an appointment with Qingchen Photography Studio this afternoon to try on your wedding dress?" In the morning, photographer Li scolded me and changed it to 5:30 p.m. In the afternoon, he added a last-minute task, murmured his sleepy eyes, "I have to tell you, my dear. Let's sleep a little longer, on. So it's like this, then you can sleep a little longer." After a storm, Zhang Jie gently said, "Dear baby, let's get up and tidy up and prepare to set off. Sleeping for a whole day has made me even more tired," Miaoqing said angrily. "Let's sleep a little longer." Zhang Jie stared mischievously at Miaoqing's pink pupils, his eyes full of love. No need, I'm not tired anymore." "I was just joking," he said as he got up from bed. Miaoqing put on the turquoise qipao that Zhang Jie had just custom-made for her a few days ago. Her curvaceous figure was beyond comparison, paired with a small ruby gold necklace on her chest, shining brightly in Zhang Jie's eyes. Zhang Jie wore the blue short-sleeved shirt thrown at her by Shuchen, which was ordinary but couldn't conceal her handsomeness. Put on your glasses, she hugged her little fiancé AE and walked downstairs together. After arriving at Qingchen studio, I collaborated with designer Li to select wedding dresses. One of them, a fluffy skirt, strapless and floor-mopping wedding dress, was provided by the World Hilton Ding Chuang Association and was a masterpiece designed and produced by the famous French wedding dress designer Ma Samy. The wedding dress has a crystal-clear water blue color throughout, shimmering with both gorgeous and elegant charm on the floor. Every design is meticulously crafted, every stitch of embroidery is carved, and there is a romantic character. The elegant design reveals a charming figure, teasing the restless heartstrings. Miaoqing and Zhang Jie nodded tacitly. Miaoqing in her wedding dress is like Royal Highness Princess, the princess fleeing from the castle. The blue silk thread on the wedding dress is illuminated by the light. Taking advantage of Miaoqing, a gentle and jade-like Hotan, it is even more beautiful. Zhang Jie is excited and speechless. She looks at her princess quietly, tears filling her eyes, thinking, "This is the most beautiful bride I will have in my life. This is also the most beautiful bride I have ever seen in this outfit. You are so lucky, young man." Photographer Li De took a photo of the silly Zhang Jie standing in place, stunned Miaoqing. "Thank you for marrying me and letting me take care of you for a lifetime." Next, they looked at the toasting gown and chose a black one-shoulder custom-made one. Its design was elegant and appropriate, and the cut was just right, adding a touch of charm to the petite and lovely Miaoqing. The details are handled very well, whether it's embroidery patterns or bead decorations. Miaoqing poses herself in a designated position and makes a few movements with a click. Watching such a versatile and charming little wife, Zhang Jie just wants to quickly take her home and love her well. The upper body of the ancient wedding dress was a red and black robe, and the lower hem was composed of several layers of thin gauze like cicada wings. As she walked, the gauze danced lightly, like a fairy in a dream. Myself in the mirror seems to be saying, "This is me." Miaoqing was taken aback for a moment and was excited by Zhang Jie. "Baby, let's go. My husband will take you home. Are you tired? I've been trying on clothes for a while." She regained her composure. "Okay, I'll change my clothes and let's go home. Don't hug me anymore. It's so tiring. You only weigh a few pounds, I like to hold you, soft and soft." Zhang Jie whispered in Miaoqing's ear. The black and red wedding dress, with its rosy ears and rosy face, is even more charming and lovely. Whatever, go home. Chapter 4. Marriage and Pregnancy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After graduating smoothly, Lin Miaoqing and Zhang Jie held a grand wedding. The wedding of Lin Miaoqing, who is from a family of traditional Chinese medicine, and the wealthy second-generation Zhang Jie, who is a business tycoon, also attracted a big gathering from various media outlets, medical elites, and businessmen. With the witness of many family and friends, Zhang Jie, dressed in wedding attire, was in the center of the stage, waiting for her beautiful bride who had been hired for 3 books and 6 positions. At the wedding, the sound of Qing resounded. Today, the daughter of the Lin family, second Qing, got married and did not dare to be arrogant, for seasons and 8 seasons, constantly smoking cigarettes, tell the gods and hope for mercy. Marriage between men and women is natural, having good luck and celebration. Both husband and wife are perfect, no disasters, no difficulties, forever guaranteed for 100 years, like fish like water, sweeter than honey the tree wraps around the tree, forever forming a tree with the same root. Embrace each other until old age. Love and kindness never fail. Starting with a unified approach, everyone is united in admiration. At the golden wedding ceremony, blessings, wealth, and longevity are shared. At this moment, wearing a phoenix crown and a rosy robe, Miaoqing, shining brightly, walked slowly towards Zhang Jie, who was surrounded by the jade tree and facing the wind by her father Lin Jixiao. The bride had a stunning appearance, with fair skin as snow, like a celestial being descending to earth. Her eyes were bright and full of energy, as if they could conquer the city and the country. Her nose bridge is straight, and her nostrils are slightly wriggling, giving people a noble temperament. Her lips were rosy and plump, slightly upturned, as delicate and charming as rose petals. As Miaoqing got closer and closer to her, her facial features became increasingly unclear, and Zhang Jie's tears of excitement filled his eyes. At some point Miaoqing's father handed over his daughter to him with his own hands and said, "Zhang Jie, I will give you my beloved daughter. I hope you will never part ways and work together." "Don't worry, Dad, I will take care of her." Zhang Jie hugged his dad in the midst of everyone's blessings. Zhang Jie said to Miaoqing, "I am worth it in this life. I will marry the girl I love." After the wedding, the two finally welcomed their time together. Zhang Jie held the second green in his arms and said, "What great fortune did I cultivate in my previous life. In this life, I can take my little cutie as my wife. In my previous life, I may have owed you a debt, but in this life, you have been bullying me every day. Tomorrow is the day your aunt reports. Have you had the brown sugar meatballs and sweet soup prepared for you in advance?" Zhang Jie asked softly. "Well, I drank it, hee, then let's." "Wait a moment, didn't I say I had a big gift for you?" "I'm not curious," Miaoqing gently pushed Zhang Jie. "Let's talk slowly later. You are the best and greatest beloved gift of my life." "No, look," Miaoqing casually took out the already prepared box from her bedside table and gave it to him. "What?" Zhang Jie opened the box and said, "It's an early pregnancy test strip. It's not like there's a bar on it." "Okay, understand, let's work together." Then he kissed Miaoqing. "Take a good look, there are 2 bars." Zhang Jie took a closer look and only then did he see clearly that besides the red bar, there was also a light pink bar. "Really? So soon, am I going to be a dad?" Zhang Jie immediately got up from Miaoqing's body. "Well, my mom has been watching my expression these days and giving me a pulse," said Miaoqing. "I took another test strip and tested it again." "You're going to be a dad now." Zhang Jie deeply kissed Miaoqing, hugged her, and told her, "Thank you, my baby, I love you." On his wedding night, Zhang Jie hugged his beloved girl like this, listening to her talk about today's interesting details, watching the angel slowly fall asleep. Unexpectedly, my little angel had already sent me another little angel, and Miaoqing turned over. Zhang Jie covered her with a blanket, and Miaoqing turned over and tightly hugged her neck. Zhang Jie had a smile on his face, like a father doting on his mischievous daughter. Chapter 5. Difficult Labor Crossing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the second day of his wedding, Zhang Jie told all his family and friends about Miaoqing's pregnancy. He also posted videos of early pregnancy on social media and other platforms, hoping that the whole world would know he was going to become a father. "So happy, catching bag, being a dad, promoting it all over the world," said Miaoqing sourly. "Little fool, I'm telling them to take extra care of you, take care of your emotions, your body, and pay attention to you everywhere, because you're not alone anymore. The little things in your stomach are bothering you, and my family and friends need to take good care of my little pregnant woman." Zhang Jie gently scraped his scraped nose with his fingers and said softly, "Humph." He lowered his head and smiled contentedly. During the entire pregnancy, Zhang Jie and his family carefully took care of Miaoqing. Miaoqing occasionally accompanied her grandfather to see some patients seeking medical treatment and medicine, mixed some chemical gadgets that she was interested in, and made her unhappy when she was idle. Everyone followed her and asked her to do something she liked appropriately. All the pregnancy tests were successfully passed, and soon it was time to give birth. Zhang Jie and his family were outside the delivery room, and the doctor informed Zhang Jie of the details of the delivery and the dangers of the surgery and asked him to sign. Although Zhang Jie had been informed in advance about major bleeding, amniotic fluid embolism, and placental abruption, when it was time to sign, his hand trembled unconsciously. Zhang Jie could only wait anxiously outside after signing. This girl, who had been afraid of pain since childhood, refused to let Zhang Jie accompany her during the delivery. She didn't want Zhang Jie to worry more about her. A nurse came out of the delivery room carrying a Lin Miaoqing family member. "Here," Zhang Jie heard an anxious response. "Girl, 3,650 grams, casually handed the baby to Zhang Jie, who was waiting with both hands. "My wife, how are you doing?" "Currently very good, we'll be out in a while." Looking at the baby in swaddling clothes, with a red face, wet little hair, slender eyelids, and a small one, Zhang Jie's heart was not so excited, but more worried about his wife in the delivery room. At this moment, Zhang Jie's mother took the baby from his hand and, accompanied by his father, took her to the neonatology department to have blood drawn and vaccinated according to the nurse's instructions just now. "Don't worry too much, the second green will come out safely soon." Miaoqing's parents and Zhang Jie's parents encouraged each other, but Zhang Jie stared blankly at the delivery room door, anxiously waiting. The flowers he had prepared in advance were placed on the ground, but he forgot to pick them up. Ms. Tan, surname Hua, suddenly experienced massive postpartum hemorrhage, but after ineffective hemostasis, she suffered severe shock and her life was on the brink of death. Doctors in Wuhan urgently opened up a green transportation channel and staged a life relay to pull her back from the brink of death. When recalling this medical experience, she still felt unbelievable. In the delivery room, Miaoqing gave birth to a healthy baby girl. Just as she was immersed in the joy of becoming a new mother, misfortune quietly arrived. 15 minutes after giving birth, Miaoqing felt a sudden surge of blood flow in her body. The doctor quickly gathered around her, and not long after, Miaoqing fell into a coma. At this moment, Zhang Jie is not pacing around the delivery room for you. "I hope everything is safe and sound, come out early, come out safe and sound, come out early." At this time, Miaoqing encountered the most common and dangerous emergency in obstetrics. Postpartum hemorrhage. She had a single bleeding volume of 800 milliliters, and the doctor took immediate hemostatic measures, but the effect was not satisfactory. However, her vital signs were extremely unstable, and after continuous blood transfusion, her hemoglobin still rapidly decreased. Miaoqing's life in severe shock is in a precarious state. At this time, she is in a state of severe shock, with a heart rate of 170 beats per minute and only 3 grams of hemoglobin, which is about a quarter of that of a normal adult. She belongs to extremely severe anemia and is accompanied by multiple organ failure. The nurse anxiously held the surgical sheet and told Zhang Jie, "Massive bleeding, emergency situation requires hysterectomy." Zhang Jie's eyes turned black, and the heavy tone of "I sign" instantly left his mind blank due to the critical condition. The doctor arranged for an examination including a full-body CT scan and developed a detailed treatment plan. Subsequently, the doctor team worked together and quickly identified the bleeding site in the pelvic blood vessels through imaging, and performed interventional surgery to stop the bleeding. It is gratifying that after more than an hour, the blood was finally successfully stopped, and the surgery was only minimally invasive, which not only saved Miaoqing's life from danger, but also avoided open surgery, hysterectomy, and preserved her reproductive function. After learning about it, Zhang Jie still couldn't rest assured. After the surgery, Miaoqing was transfused while observing and transferred to the ICU ward for further treatment. Having just passed through the gates of hell, Ms. Tan also faces difficulties such as acute heart failure, respiratory failure, and acute kidney failure. Chapter 6. Where am I and who am I? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Miaoqing seemed to see the flickering lights in the operating room and hear the sound of cold surgical instruments colliding. Her mind suddenly seemed like a slideshow, having a child, getting married, and being with Zhang Jie for the first time. Zhang Jie's face became increasingly blurred, and instead, it was a teenager playing and joking with her. Miss is awake, Miss is awake, called Zhang Tai quickly. A small woman wearing a cloud bun, with a jade hairpin attached to her cicada temples and a jade hairpin slanted horizontally, was anxiously talking by her bedside. Miaoqing opened her eyes and looked around, with green bamboo covering the room and a cool breeze. The redwood bed is covered with exquisite embroidery, emitting a faint fragrance. By the window, a pot of orchid sways leisurely. Where am I? Who am I? Miss, this is at home. Miss, don't you know me? I'm Lanxin. Did you forget? You rode a horse with young Master Lin Lan and accidentally fell off. The little girl touched the young lady's forehead, which was no longer burning, feeling extremely puzzled in her heart. Has the imperial physician arrived? A little later, a middle-aged man set up a sail for her, asked the little girl about the situation, and then walked outside the boudoir. Behind the screen, Miaoqing heard an eager middle-aged man say, "Dr. Zhang, please sit down. How is my little girl doing?" "Mr. Sun, there's no need to panic. My daughter may have fallen to the head and suffered temporary memory damage. I'll prescribe some calming and qi-regulating medicines. Maybe it will recover in a while, but I can't guarantee a complete recovery," said the imperial physician with regret. "What should we do? What are Dr. Zhang's insights?" The middle-aged man pleaded sadly. "Fortunately, today's situation seems to be lacking in memory, but my mind is still clear," said the imperial physician, gradually fading away. Miaoqing, lying in bed, only then realized that her head was slightly hurting. "Am I, my child, my Zhangjia, they are still waiting for me. What should we do? What should we do? I thought to this person and couldn't help but burst into tears. What should I do?" Just as I was about to wipe away the tears from the corners of my eyes, a sharp pain ran over me. Miss, it hurts a lot. It will heal in a while, and it won't affect your stunning appearance." The little girl quickly stepped forward to comfort her. "Qingchen, you're awake, right? Let me take a look." At this moment, a clear and cool voice anxiously shouted, "Lin Lan, young man, be careful of that other healthy leg." A small servant chased after him. "Young master, it's probably not appropriate for you to enter now." Lan Xin couldn't even stop her. This is a little cripple with legs crossed, panicking and falling into Miaoqing's eyes. This tall nose peak, delicate eyebrows, isn't this Zhangjia? Although he was wearing a black robe, his eyebrows and eyes remained unchanged, only becoming much younger. Miaoqing opened her arms and was about to embrace Zhangjia. At this moment, the young man had already stumbled over to her bed and said, "Woo woo woo woo, I thought I would never see you again, woo 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 woo." "Ah, hee, how could it be? How could it be?" The young man's face had already turned red to the base of his neck. "You all need to step down first," he said sternly. "Young master, I'm afraid it won't work," Lan Xin said nervously as she was pulled out by a small servant pushing. "Sang, has Miss regained her memory?" "I still remember young Master Lin Lan," she murmured softly as she walked out. Lin Lan patted Miaoqing lightly. This was the first time Qingchen had held her so tightly since they grew up. He comforted her softly. "Qingchen, it's okay, it's okay. My legs will be fine in a few days." "Qingchen." He called me Qingchen. Chapter 7. Shuchen Jiaosun Qingchen Suochuo Luolin Lan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. My name is Qingchen. Miaoqing made a big question mark in her head. She stopped crying and stared at the boy who was exactly like Zhang Jia at the age of 16. "Well, you really have amnesia, but you still remember me, Suochuo Lin Lan," said the young man as he once again embraced Miaoqing in his arms. "Don't worry, Qingchen. Even if you don't remember yourself, I will treat you well for the rest of my life," the young man responded firmly. What to do, mine." Miaoqing broke free from his embrace before she could finish speaking. "It's okay, don't worry about the wound on your face. I have asked my aunt to visit the Lady Li in the palace and ask for the healing glue." Shu scar glue, Li Fei, so familiar, Miaoqing recalled in her mind. "Dr. Wen is my maternal uncle, and my mother sent someone to find him," the young man said word by word. "I'm not talking about my face." Miaoqing sighed. "Qingchen, seeing you wake up, you don't know how happy I am. I can't help you ride a horse anymore. During these days when you were unconscious, I have been guarding your house. Qingchen, thank you for remembering me. I will not disappoint your affection for me. The young man stared at Miaoqing with tears in his eyes. Miaoqing couldn't tell if this was really Zhang Jie. He was so affectionate and familiar, and for a moment he held on to him tightly. Woo 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 woo, I only have you left. I don't care whether you remember me or not. I believe you are him, Miaoqing said while crying. Young Master Lin Lan only heard one sentence clearly, I only have you, and the rest were only fragments of words that she had not fully recovered her memory. Anyway, she didn't hear them clearly either. Lin Lan's young man's heart thumped, even amidst Qingchen's cries, he could still hear the pounding sound of the heart that was about to come out. He silently thought to himself, Qingchen, amnesia is also good, bringing us closer together. Qingchen. At this moment, a graceful woman walked in, gently moving her lotus steps with a calm and composed demeanor, as graceful as spring flowers circling the courtyard. Lin Lan hurriedly supported Qingchen and said, Auntie, you have returned from the palace, and the medicine has been taken back. Lin Lan's rosy cheeks walked towards her. Well, bring it to Zhuyue, she called in a maid and said, give it to the young master. Qingchen, do you remember me? The woman came to Qingchen's side. Miaoqing looked puzzled. Don't worry, I'll remember it slowly. You little one, come home with me. She's also awake now. You should let go of your worries and change your clothes when you go home. Don't smoke Qingchen anymore, let her rest and recuperate well. She said as she pulled the boy out. Is this medicine safe? Don't worry, I have already checked with Dr. Zhang. Qingchen, apply it once in the morning and once in the evening. Don't worry, be sure not to leave any scars. Empress, she was so good back then. I'll leave first. Tomorrow, I'll come see you again. Young Master Lin Lan's voice grew farther and farther away, and Miaoqing sat alone by the bedside, pondering. Shigui fei shu kenjio li fei Lin Lan. Miss, lie down quickly, said the servant Miaoqing as she lay down. It seems that Miss only remembers young Master Lin Lan. Judging from his concern, it's not in vain that Miss has been showing her affection for him for many years. Lanxin, what year and month is it today? In the 8th year of Yongzheng's reign, when the birds were singing, Lan Xin slowly said, Oh, what about me? Who do I belong to? Miaoqing asked a series of questions, hoping to know all the answers right away. Miss, you are Sun Qingchen, the daughter of Sun Shuochuo, the young minister of Dali Temple. Miss, have you forgotten everything except for Lin Lan, the young man? Lan Xin thought to herself, only knowing that Miss has a genuine affection for Lin Lan. Unexpectedly, she only remembers this young master and feels jealous in her heart. Chapter 8. Want to go home? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Miaoqing slept soundly for a day and then Lan Xin called out, Miss, it's time to eat. Miss, would you like some congee? Miss, are you feeling better? Lan Xin stayed by Miss's side all day long. Zhang Jie, are you okay now? Baby, are you okay? Will you stop eating and drinking for days? Recalling Zhang Jie's day and night protection, warm embrace, occasionally making her happy, do I still exist in that world now? Zhang Jie, how can I see you and go back? I don't want to be the daughter of the young master of Dali Temple. I want to come back to you and be the carefree Lin. Miaoqing. Zhang Jie, is that you? Where are you going, Zhang Jie? The familiar gaze was about to reach him, but suddenly disappeared. Zhang Jie, Zhang Jie. Miaoqing woke up from her dream in shock. Lan Xin next to her said, Miss, what's wrong with you? Who is Zhang Jie? Do you want to get up and have some tea? Lanxin, I'm not Qingchen. Lanxin, I'm Lin Miaoqing. I'm Lin Miaoqing. The sorrowful Miaoqing grabbed Lanxin's hand and cried repeatedly. Lan Xin was so scared that she spilled all the tea in her hand. I'll go call Dr. Zhang, she said. No, no need, Lanxin, I really don't need it. Miaoqing tightly tugged at Lanxin's sleeve. Miss, are you really not needed? Lan Xin couldn't help but shed tears as she looked at such a sad young lady. Miss always fights and makes mistakes with her, and when the master scolds her, Miss always stops her. Miss, who has been mischievous since childhood, rarely cries. Even when her wife passed away at the age of 9, Miss only secretly shed tears. Miss, you cry. You said you don't need Dr. Zhang, it must be okay. Lan Xian comforted her while wiping her tears. I don't know how I got here, I don't like this, I want to go back, I want to go back, Miaoqing said as she fainted again. Lanxin watched as the young lady fell asleep, and then asked the old master to hire a doctor and prescribe a few medicines. Looking at the young lady who was not sleeping soundly, Lanxin couldn't bear it and entrusted someone to deliver a message to young master Suochuo Luolin Lan. After half an hour, young master Lin Lan came limping and said, "How is Qingchen?" "Young master Lin Lan, my young lady is still not doing well. She talks nonsense and can't sleep soundly. Are you worried about your wounds?" Women already love beauty, let alone Qingchen, who already enjoys a good reputation in Kyoto and is usually proud and charming. She didn't. Before Lan Xian finished speaking, "Did I use the scar relief glue I brought you?" Lin Lan asked with concern. "I used it once today," Lan Xian replied. "Here, I'll paint it for her while she's asleep." Young master Lin Lan looked at Qingchen, with a head of light golden long hair and unparalleled white skin that appeared even paler, except for the red scar that was particularly eye-catching. Young master Lin Lan gently helped her apply the wound, reminding her of the archery troublemaker she used to be, the lazy one who practiced calligraphy, and the top-notch one who played the piano. She was so bright and lovely that she accidentally hurt Qingchen. "Oh," Miaoqing opened her eyes. "Qingchen, you're awake." "Zhang, no." Young master Lin Lan, Miaoqing quietly called out to the young man in front of her who looked like Zhang Jia. "You're so polite today, you even called me a young master. Why, when you hugged me yesterday, you forgot." "I can't forget," Lin Lan smiled brightly. "I didn't forget, I'm sorry." Miaoqing lowered her head. "Why, Qingchen would also feel embarrassed," Lin Lan joked. "That's not what I meant." "Why, afraid of becoming ugly and being teased by chanting?" "Don't worry, you will definitely be fine. I promise there are no scars at all. I will always be by your side to protect you." Zhang Jia also said to her, "I will always be by your side and protect you." Miaoqing was momentarily speechless, tears falling like broken pearls on the back of her hand. Qingchen. Chapter 9. Palace Selection. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. With the careful care of young master Lin Lan and Lan Xian, Qingchen's injury has healed. She picked up the mirror for the first time and looked at this unfamiliar and familiar appearance, with light golden hair, snow-white skin, and smooth and delicate skin. "Miss, do you think young master Lin Lan's method really works?" Lan Xian helped Qingchen dress up while saying, "The weather is nice today, and Shangshan Temple is particularly lively today. We also go to pay our respects." Okay. Entering the temple, Qingchen also prayed that he could return to modern times, when a message came from beside him. Although a believer is not as capable of achieving success and career as a man, she does not want to easily disappoint herself. "If you want to marry someone, you must marry the best man in this world, marry him, and grow old with white hair. But please pray for the blessings of the Bodhisattva. Let the believer leave her brand and not be selected to enter the palace," said a delicate woman. Qingchen thought to herself, "Isn't it that besides Zhen Huan, there are also many people who want to win one's heart and don't want to go to the palace to suffer?" Lanxin said, "It is said that the bodhisattvas here are the most effective, and the young lady's thoughts will definitely be fulfilled. Miss, are you also worried about your palace selection, afraid of being selected?" "What? Tianchuan. Me." Qingchen's heart shook. "What's wrong?" "Miss, you even forgot about this. Lanxin and Qingchen have finished worshipping Bodhisattva and are preparing to go to the temple fair to have a look." Lanxin said, "Hey, what day is today? Why did young master Lin Lan come to seek Bodhisattva?" Qingchen said, "I can't say he's here to seek his own future. The man has aspirations in all directions, young master Lin Lan." Lin Lan anxiously said, "Qingchen, I just went to the mansion to find you, and I heard from chanting that you came here to offer incense." Qingchen. Coming out for a walk is also a way to relax. Lin Lan thought she had to say, Qingchen sister, don't hide it from me anymore. I know you must have been worried about the palace selection for many days. Qingchen. Actually, I have other requests. Lin Lan said, Qingchen, when my mother was alive, she often said that she would give this golden magnolia butterfly hairpin to our future daughter-in-law of the Suochuo Luo family. In fact, this has always been my intention. If you accept it, you don't have to go to the palace to choose it anymore. Qingchen said, when Lord Xuanji was alive, he made a rule that all unselected ladies should not marry privately. Young Master Lin Lan wanted to be in a hurry, so there was no need to bring out such valuable things. Qingchen couldn't bear it. Lin Lan said, Qingchen, although I am a former imperial guard and not very wealthy, I promise to treat you well, love you, protect you, and always prioritize you in everything I do. Qingchen said, young Master Lin Lan, I don't remember how we used to get along and make promises. I hope we will be called siblings in the future. Qingchen doesn't have a brother, so he will treat you like his own brother. Naturally, he believes that his brother will treat his sister well. With his sister-in-law in the future, you will also treat her better. Young Master Lin Lan said, it was Lin Lan's rudeness. I never considered that you were injured and your memory was damaged, but I sincerely hope that Qingchen and younger sister do not apply for election. This is not only because I have always had you in my heart, but also because the people in the palace are dangerous and afraid that you will find it difficult to protect yourself. Qingchen said, Qingchen is grateful for Lin Lan's affection, but Qingchen is no longer the old acquaintance you used to know. Lin Lan. Qingchen sister, you don't have to sacrifice yourself for the sake of Chan. What I like is you. Qingchen remembered that Lanxin had told her that Chanxi was her half-sister and had been in love with Lin Lan for a long time. Although Lin Lan and Qingchen had been childhood sweethearts, their stepmother Qin repeatedly intervened and said, I understand what Lin Lan and my brother said. I won't hurt myself for her, but I'm not the Qingchen I used to be. Lin Lan said, whether or not I can recall the past, whether it's the past Qingchen or not, the only person I admire is you. Son Qingchen, forgetting is not important. You are the only one in my life. Qingchen looked at the face that resembled Zhang Jia and was speechless. Chapter 10. Is ultimately not worth it. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The palace maid said, the Han army flags are all lined up, and the two of them are standing in line. Once again, I would like to remind all the young ladies that they were chosen out of thousands to stay. The emperor and the noble consort she should personally see each other. This is a great grace, and naturally, all the young ladies should not be nervous. Don't make mistakes in the rules. If you don't keep the master, you should leave the sign and give flowers back to the mansion. If you keep him, you should be selected, or you should marry any of your relatives on the spot. If you have greater luck, you will become the young master in the palace. You should temporarily stay in your own home and wait for the selection of generations. On an auspicious day, entering the palace depends on each young lady's luck and fortune. Stop, let's go, Qingchen sister, are you? I am Baiken. Chinner has long heard that her sister has been selected, but she has never been able to see you. I heard that you were injured a few days ago, and I don't think you have recovered all your memories yet. Is everything better now? The woman with a clear expression said to Qingchen, oh, after resting in the capital for these days, I have already been recuperating for 89% of the time. Qingchen said, although my sister is dressed plainly today, I can tell at a glance that she is a beautiful woman, said Baiken gently. Chen air is not good, I just have a skin color and hair color that is different from the average person. In terms of beauty, there are many outstanding women today, and I may not necessarily be selected. If others hear me, they will cause trouble. The audition hall is proceeding in an orderly manner, and you can hear it from a distance. Xia Jinhua, daughter of Hangzhou Prefect Gift Sachet Fu Qinglu, daughter of Fu Guiyin, Deputy Director of the Department of Political Affairs giving sachets. Which lady of your family are you? You stepped on my shoes, said a woman arrogantly and arrogantly. Do you know that you offended Miss and Rohan, the younger sister of the current holy pet princess of the Oreo, said a nearby beauty. I accidentally stepped on my sister in a moment of panic, but it was not intentional. I hope my sister can forgive me for my unintentional mistake. Even if you are allowed to face the Holy Spirit, you will not be retained. What's to be afraid of? Being able to let you enter the Forbidden City is already a blessing for you for several lifetimes. You dare to daydream, and Rohan said. Qingchen looked at everything in front of her, just like the TV drama Empresses in the Palace. However, time had passed and she had become an Rohan. Qingchen did not go to help that poor young lady like Empresses in the Palace. Just as she was about to leave. If sister is angry, I can compensate you for this, sister. Baiken was the first to be affected. It turns out to be Sister Baiken. For the sake of Sister Baiken's face, today I'm the only one with poor aspirations, Mississippi. Why don't you quickly disappear from my face? And Rohan said, Sister Baiken, is this person around you commonly referred to as the immortal sister in Beijing? Qingchen looked confused, and Baiken said angrily, you're right. In the past, you were so arrogant and domineering that she had already blocked your mouth. Qingchen, sister, this is an Rohan. Sister is the Oriole concubine who developed the Shuchen gel. Qingchen, have you met Missin? Don't mention it. Our sisters will inevitably take care of each other in the palace in the future. I've seen Sister Qingchen here again, and Rohan smiled. And Rohan, Baiken has successfully left a sign and given a sachet today. The Holy Emperor is no longer like before. Anyone who is gentle and charming, has a stunning appearance, or is proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting has been retained. I only heard the consul eunuch in the palace call out. Sun Qingchen, daughter of Sun Ingda, the young minister of Dali Temple year 17. Qingchen. My daughter, Sun Qingchen, kowtow to the emperor. Long live, long live, long live, long live, Empress Dowager, long live. Emperor. Raise your head, dressed in a blue robe, with skin that surpasses snow. Although her appearance may not be as pure Yuan, she exudes lotus flowers and is a young beauty that the emperor falls in love with at first sight. The emperor said to the current empress, indeed, one daughter of the position of young minister of Dali Temple is better than one. Empress. Yes, your majesty. Such skin color and appearance are among the best in the harem. Leave a brand and give a sachet.